Hey guys! Oh my goodness, I can't believe how long it's taken me to get on another live. It's been wild for the last month. I went to Mexico. Goodness, I left on May 30th. So it was legitimately a month ago that I left for Mexico for my destination wedding event. So if you guys followed along, I know the floating taco bar ended up being the big thing. But the whole reason I went down to Mexico was to visit several resorts that are part of the Charisma brand and talk to their wedding planning team. So destination weddings are bigger than ever right now. They have between their resorts, and they have a handful of resorts in Mexico. They run all the El Dorado properties, they run the Nickelodeon properties, they run Generations and Azul. They have 600 weddings planned for 2021 from that point when I was there in May through the end of the year, because so many people are ready to get married. There were so many weddings that were postponed or put off or, scaled down, and people are ready to celebrate and they want to do something maybe a little bit different than what they were originally planning. So destination weddings have always been really popular. And I can tell you exactly who they're for. Like for me, I think a destination wedding is for the bride and groom that don't want to stress out about having a big guest list if you have a big family, and maybe you don't want to have a 300-person wedding. A destination wedding is a very easy way to scale that back because obviously not everybody is going to be able to come. So it makes it a little bit easier to keep it small and intimate to your close friends and family, because there is an expense in traveling to a destination for a wedding. And it also comes with a lot less planning and stress. So when you partner with me, for example, to plan your destination wedding, I help you pick the right resort. So I went down and I viewed all of the Charisma owned or Charisma run properties, and they do a fantastic job. And obviously they're not the only ones, but I do highly recommend them. So what I do is I help you find the right resort. Do you need a family-friendly resort? Do you want an adult-only resort? Do you want a small group of people that are going to be very intimate throughout the whole thing? Do you have a larger group? So a small group might be something like, we're going to rent out an entire Casitas enclave, which is 17 rooms, but it's its own little building. It's its own little enclave. So when I say enclave, it's like a horseshoe shape and it has its own pool. So while we were there, a bridal party had rented that whole or booked that whole enclave with those 17 rooms. And they were able to have their own foam party for that in the pool and like do a lot of like exclusive things with just their group. And that's going to be a small group. That's only 17 rooms. You might need a larger block of rooms. They've gone all the way up to 300 rooms at the resorts. Do you need something that's family friendly? So you're going to want to think about that. Something like Generations or Azul or the Nickelodeon Resort are all going to be family friendly. The great thing about, say, Generations, for example, is that it's right next door to Casitas and Royale, which are two adult-only properties. And so you can have adults that stay in one area or one resort, but they're all in like walking distance. They're all literally they're like all right next door to each other. So it's kind of like a complex. So there's certain things to think about in terms of like the look and feel and the vibe of your wedding. Somebody who might like an Azul Beach resort might not like a Seaside, or we might go to a different brand. We might go to Secrets. We might go to Dreams. There's a lot of resorts, obviously, throughout the entire Caribbean, and even then going into like true destinations, like if we're thinking Europe and stuff like that. But a lot of all-inclusive resorts are all going to have very different feels and vibes. So it's really important for me as your travel agent to kind of find the right fit. And I do that in the same way that I would plan a vacation. I'm going to ask you what kind of things are important to you. What are the things you want to share with your guests? What, is a small resort going to be a benefit for you? Are you going to want a larger resort? there's going to be a lot of factors that go into that, and they're not dissimilar from when we plan a vacation. So that's kind of step one, we find the right resort. And then from my point of view, I handle all of the travel logistics. So what I do is I create your own customized personal wedding website that all of your guests can go to, and that's how they contact me. That's how they book their room. They can make their payments through the website, and I handle all of the questions, which is great because as a bride or a groom, you don't want Aunt Karen saying like, I don't know how to get a flight, and I don't know how to check in for Southwest, and I don't know how to do this. And you can say, great, we have a travel agent that's handling all of our logistics. You can call Travel Brilliant. Denise will help you out. So I handle kind of taking care of all of that for you, so that when everybody asks you like, oh, you know, what are the rooms like? Are they ocean view? Can I walk out to the beach? You know what? Great question. Ask Denise. So you don't have to be in the middle. I am the person who handles all of their questions, all of their wacky, like what time do I need to get to the airport? How do I get a passport? All of those things fall to me. And again, we create that custom wedding website for you so that your guests have a place to go. And then what I do is I kind of then hand you off to the team on the ground. And this is one of the great reasons you're going to want to do a destination wedding, is because if you were to do a wedding here at home and you're going to look for flowers, you're going to look at a florist, you're going to look for invitations, you're going to look for this, you're going to look for that, you're going to look at decor, you're going to taste this. You have a wedding planner. That's a premium. Like if you were to hire a wedding planner here, they can go up to, you know, $20,000, $30,000 depending on how much they're planning for your wedding and how big it is. They are included. So you have a wedding planner. You tell them and you get to go down. So what all of the resorts do, and they all kind of have a version of this. You know, you can come down and sort of test it out. So some of them are 2 nights. Some of them might be 3 nights. Some of them completely comp it up front. If you book the wedding, so they give you an option to come down to the resort, whether it's Mexico, Jamaica, St. Lucia, they give you the option to come down. And then if you book your wedding with them, those nights end up getting comped. And see the venues. So within any of these resort complexes, you're going to have several options. Do you want to be on the beach? Do you want to be, they have a lot of like various gazebos around. Some of them, you know, have different feels to them. There's certain resorts that will have chapels on site if it's important to you to get married in a chapel. Some of them have overwater chapels. So there's often multiple locations on site that you as the bride and groom can choose from. And then what you do is then you have a backup too. So if you do pick an outdoor location, they always offer you a plan B. So you know what your plan B is right from the jump in case there's bad weather. And most of these resorts will only do 1 wedding a day, so that they ensure that all of the places are available should they need to go to plan B. And a lot of them offer you a free wedding. So what does that mean? So typically it's usually between 10 and 15 rooms. So if you have a group that's going to book between 10 and 15 rooms, their basic package is going to be included. So there's all different names for it. Some call it cash for your bash, things like that. So depending on the number of rooms that your party books, meaning your guests, and you block off for your guests, it gives you cash towards your wedding, which is really cool. So then, you know, you're going to be able to get basically like the what you need. You're going to be set up with a very nice package to start off with. And then if you choose to do any extra add-ons, you can. But again, like depending on how many guests you have, depends on how much credit that you have with that resort for your wedding. So again, my training was with a Charisma, was with Charisma Properties, which I love. But there is kind of a version of this across your all-inclusive resorts who do destination weddings. So that's kind of the steps. We pick out what's the right location for you, where do you want to go, what the right resort is. I create all of the logistics for you. So we book the room block, we get the contract for that, I create the website, and then I'm the point person for anybody who needs to book. Then I introduce you to the wedding team, and you guys kind of go from there. So obviously I make sure that there is availability for your wedding when we do all of these logistics, but then I hand you over to their wedding team, and they handle all of the, you know, the day of stuff, like all of the celebration stuff. And this can be multi-day celebration. So you can do, like I said, there was a wedding while we were down there that had reserved a whole enclave at one of these resorts, and they had their own pool in that enclave, and they did a foam party. So that could be something that you do, again, maybe the day after. If you've got guests staying through the whole weekend, you can, you know, you can set up multiple things for your guests to do to keep them entertained. So that's destination weddings. And it took me a whole month to get on here and talk about that. But it is really big right now, and we're really planning a lot for the end of this year and even into 2022. So if you've got a destination wedding on your radar, it's not too early to start planning that. At least get your dates booked, because what we're seeing is that they were always popular, but they're more popular than ever now. And I think a lot of people just don't want the stress of a big wedding. And the last year, we've sort of scaled down in terms of what's important to us. And so the idea of being able to just go away somewhere really stunning and beautiful and relax and be totally taken care of with the people that are most important to you to celebrate a wedding is really really attractive. So we're definitely booking out into 2022. So if you've got that on your radar, definitely let me know. And the nice thing we can do is we can always sort of roll that into, we call it a wedding moon. So you can get married at one resort and have that all with your friends and family. And then we can either, once that's done and your guest leaves, we can either upgrade you to a bigger room, like a more honeymoon room, or even move you to another resort, move you out to an overwater bungalow so that you can celebrate your honeymoon and kind of tie all of that in together, which is really, really popular for a lot of both brides and grooms. And there's so many places in the Caribbean that do same-sex marriage. Mexico is huge. It's legal there. It's welcome there. So if you are looking to do a same-sex wedding, there's definitely a lot of stunning options that are available to you that are welcoming and friendly. So definitely reach out if you've got that on your radar. So that's the destination wedding thing. And it feels like, again, it took me a month to get on here, but I appreciate you guys so much, because you're the reason that I haven't been able to get on a live and do this. Is because I've been so busy. You guys have been amazing. I appreciate all of your support. So many of you guys are making referrals every day. I hear like, oh, so-and-so said that I should reach out to you. And I really appreciate that. I just had one this morning that with a Disney cruise. And, you know, that it just makes us feel so good when you recommend us to your friends, because we know that we're helping you make really great memories. And that means the world to me, at least. I know personally, like, I love that I can help you guys make really amazing memories. And when the time comes, you tell your friends and family that we did that for you. And that's amazing. I love that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So just a couple updates. I know I talked about the article for Lux Life magazine. That is coming out in July, is the next edition for the magazine. So that article, or the editorial, will come out in July. So I'll definitely share a link with you guys when that comes out. I just touched base with the reporter from the New York Times, and the article that I was contacted for, she said, is hopefully getting published this week. So again, I'll share a post or a link with that. What else is going on? There's just been so much going on, and I've been so busy, but that is not a complaint. It's been amazing. When there was a year of stress and we're not over it, I just had to, and oh my goodness, it broke my heart, but we just had to move our Rocky Mountaineer group trip for the second time. We were originally supposed to go in April of 2021. We moved it to September because we still don't have a full timeline for when Canada is going to open. we decided to move that trip out to May. So most of our guests are going with us, are continuing. My heart's just broken for the ones that couldn't go in May, and I know that they were really looking forward to it. So we're not out of the woods yet completely. And if you would have told me a year ago when I picked Canada for this trip, I picked it because I was like, of course we're going to be going to Canada, and we're going to Italy. Italy is open. I have travelers going to Italy, and I can't send anybody to Canada. I'm flabbergasted. But again, we've got to be nimble. We've got to work with our vendors, and we have fantastic vendors that we love to work with. And that's why we work with them. We love Rocky Mountaineer. They've stuck with us through all of these changes. Some other vendors I want to shout out. Colette Tours has been amazing. They have really scrambled in the last year to make sure that everybody is safe. I always recommend them. And I keep pricing out Costa Rica tours. And even though Colette is like top of the line, their pricing is probably the best. It compares even better than some of our discount tour operators. So if you've got Costa Rica on your radar, definitely reach out to me, because that Colette tour is amazing. You're gonna get like premium service, and it's gonna price out better than things that we have in what we consider like our value in moderate tour operators. So I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing it right. Who else do we want to shout out? Pleasant Holidays has been amazing. They're my my go-to for Hawaii, and they've just been doing so much work in keeping us updated about all of the changes with Hawaii, like constantly. Every other week it feels like there's a new update, and oh my goodness, they like whoever's in charge of their graphics, they keep creating all of these flow charts about like who needs to test when. Are you coming from the mainland to the islands? Are you moving from this island to this island? And all of the islands had different like restrictions and rules, and whoever's on their graphics team that had to keep updating that flow chart, that has just been a godsend, because without it, I don't know how I would have functioned. And of course we talked about Charisma a ton. Charisma is amazing. They always do a great job. Their resorts are always one of my go-to. And the team at Lomas Travel, so we don't shout out a lot of our like DMCs or our destination management companies. Lomas does like all of your transfers and a lot of your excursions in Mexico, and I recommend them. And I have to tell you, a transfer is not the most exciting thing in your vacation. Yes, you need it. You need to get from the airport to your resort and vice versa. But I can tell you that the team at Lomas, I was in Mexico in October, so still during the pandemic, and a hurricane hit, and a hurricane that we were not expecting. You know, I'm a travel agent. I'm pretty, you know, skilled at knowing like, okay, I'm going down and there is a hurricane on the horizon. Delta came out of nowhere. It developed in like 36 hours, and it really surprised everybody. And they were predicting it was going to be a Category 5 when it hit. So we had no time. We had like a day to figure out what we were doing. Like, we were fine. We went to dinner. We came back to a note in our room that said, we recommend you evacuate. I got right online, was able to get a flight out on Southwest the next day, like the last flight that was going out. I reached out to Lomas to set up a transfer, and this was like at 10 p.m. They were getting back to me. They were on it. They had the transfer. In the morning, Senora Dolores, who is the owner of the company, called me personally and said, Denise, are you set? Do you have everything you need? It has our team taking care of you? And I said, yes, I have everything I need. And then an hour later, we heard from somebody else, just double checking. This is the time we're picking you up. This is your flight. Is everything still on? And I said, yep. And they were there. And how many times can you like say the owner of a company like that, who probably had to deal with thousands of people that were trying to get out of Mexico before a hurricane, would call you personally? And you know, there's so many vendors that during all of this have really, really stepped up to make my life easier. So I can tell you, like, if I tell you there's somebody I really recommend, it's because I believe in them, because they've really done all of the right things when it wasn't easy to do them, when there were a lot of hurdles in place. And it's super exciting that we're getting back to normal and that I'm getting to see my friends again in travel, and I'm getting to see all of my vendors, and I'm getting to go to these places and talk to them. And, you know, I think everybody's just, it really does feel like we're over the hump. Now we're still, like I said, we're still sorting through things, and that's why we had to move our Rocky Mountaineer trip. But man, is 2022 going to be such an amazing year for travel. And I know I've told you guys that if you need to book travel, don't delay, because everybody's really excited to get back out there. The amount of enthusiasm for trips, I keep calling 2022 the year of bucket list travel, but it's real. And it's not just a catchphrase that I'm saying. Like, people are truly feeling blessed to have gotten through this last year, through this pandemic. They're feeling blessed that they have their health, that they have the capability financially to travel, and they're doing it. So if you've got that, if you've got that motivation and that feeling, definitely reach out, because I want you to be able to get your first choices of dates, of trips, of locations, of vendors, and all of those great things. So I'm going to end it there, because I'll be honest, I'm getting a little emotional. I'm so excited that I've been so overwhelmed, busy, and just slammed this last month. And I'm not complaining about it at all. It's been so amazing to help you guys plan all of your amazing trips. And I feel blessed that I have you guys, and that you guys keep referring me to your friends. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm going to end it there. So I will see you guys real soon.